In this video, I'm going to teach you how to run projectBlog. All right, so I'm looking at the projectBlog repo on GitHub. And if I scroll down here to the README, I assume you've already cloned this repo, but let's scroll down a little further and we see the instructions for how to run projectBlog. That's what we're going to be learning in this video. But before we do that, before we get into these steps, I'm going to assume that you've already got Node.js and NPM installed on your computer. If you're not sure whether you've got it installed, then what I want you to do is open up your terminal. So let me type here git bash. You can use that terminal. And to check whether or not you do have it installed, just type node space -v, hit enter, and that should give you a version number back. If it says something like command not found, then it means you don't have Node installed. NPM comes baked into Node, and so if you've got Node installed, NPM will be installed as well. But if you type npm space -v and hit enter again, that should return the version number as well. For some reason that took some time, but there it is as well. Now if you don't have those installed, I'll give you the link to Node.js in the description below. You can go to this website. If you're on a Mac, it will say download for Mac over here. I'm on Windows. And then download this one on the left over here, version 12.18.4. So you would have noticed mine is 12.18.3. It's actually a little bit behind. But I want you to download this one. This is like the safe version. This is the most up-to-date, cutting-edge version, but it's not as stable as 12.18.4. So make sure you get this one, download that, and install it. It should be pretty self-explanatory. All right, and I'll also leave a link to NPM in the description below so you can see what NPM is all about if you're interested. All right, so let me just close these for now. We don't need those. So I assume you've already got that on your computer. Otherwise, a lot of the rest of this video won't make sense. But let's look at step one over here. Make sure you have cloned projectBlog to your computer. All right, so that's just referring to these instructions above. And like I said, I assume you've already done that. But in case you haven't, I'm quickly going to do that for you. I'll kind of rush through this so I don't waste your time. I've opened up VS Code over here, and in VS Code, I've pulled up my terminal. Working in Bash, that's exactly the same as using it over here, except I'm working with it directly in my text editor. It's nice and handy like this. And I've also created a folder called My Projects. Currently nothing in here. I want to clone into there, so let me navigate into there. I'm currently looking at my desktop. Say ls, I want to go into My Projects, cd My Projects. Whoops. There we go. Okay, now I'm looking at My Projects. I want to clone into here. So git clone, and now I need to paste the URL. Code. Copy that to my clipboard. Let me minimize here and paste that in. Hit enter. Now it's cloning into projectBlog. Great. Let me open this up here on my computer. There it is, projectBlog. And it looks all correct. That looks like what we have over here. Controllers, models, public routes. Good. All right. So we've cloned this repo. So make sure you have cloned projectBlog to your computer. And we've done that. That's step one complete. Now let's take a look at step two, which says open projectBlog in your text editor. All right, so open the projectBlog folder in your text editor. This will allow you to see all the files and folders within projectBlog in your text editor's working area. All right, so let me minimize this. And we want to open up our text editor. I've already got VS Code open here. Let me clear my terminal. We don't need to see this. That's Control L for me. And I want to be able to see all the projectBlog files and folders within here. So if you're on Windows, you can just say open folder. I think it's slightly different on Mac. So I'm going to say file, open folder, and then I'm going to navigate to projectBlog. I don't want to open up my projects in VS Code. I just want to open up projectBlog, and I'll have access to everything within here along with the files. You won't see them now because they're files. Let me open up projectBlog, select folder. VS Code just thinks a little while about that, and you'll see here we've got all those folders and files listed that we had on our computer. Let me pull this up alongside and you can see controllers, models. Great, so it looked like we've not only cloned this repo correctly onto our computer, but we've now also opened it in VS Code correctly. Now I don't need this hanging about here because I can work with this file in VS Code. I'm going to close that. And I'm also going to pull up the terminal in here because we'll need that for later. To do that, you can say view And looking down here, terminal. Shortcut for that is control backtick. Okay, there we go. Now I have my terminal over here, my working area over here. So if I open a file like app.js, you'll see that over here. And there we go. That's step 2 complete. Open projectBlog in your text editor. Let's take a look at step 3, which says navigate to projectBlog in your terminal. So in your terminal, make sure your working directory is pointing to the projectBlog folder, wherever you have placed this. This will be the same as step 2 and how to clone this repository. That's the instructions above this. So let's look at our terminal inside VS Code, and let's print the working directory. And it says it's looking at projectBlog already. That's good. That's what we want. If, for whatever reason, we were one directory up and we were looking at my projects, that wouldn't be correct. So we would want to go cd, let me type this correctly, projectBlog, just like that. And now our working directory is projectBlog. Any commands we enter will take effect in projectBlog. All right, that's step 3 complete. Let's look at step 4. This says install NPM Packages. In your terminal, type the command npm space install and then hit enter or return. This will install all the modules or packages that this project depends on. You'll see a folder titled Node Modules in your projectBlog folder if this has been done successfully. There's no need for you to enter this folder or edit any files there. So let's do this. I'm going to minimize here. In my terminal, I'm going to type in npm space install, and then I'm going to hit enter. This will take some time to do, but you'll see here it's loading and it's installing some things. And look here on the left, you'll see node modules should pop up. Right, node modules. I see we've got a whole bunch of errors here. This didn't happen the last time when I was testing this. In my experience, this does happen sometimes, and often when I type in npm install again, it usually rectifies that. Let's see what happens. npm install. Okay, well, we're not getting all those same errors. Seems better. It added 16 packages, whereas previously I don't think that happened. So that looks like it was a success. We've got our node modules folder over here. Like I said, you don't need to access this. This is a ton of stuff. You don't need to know what this does. You just need it in your projectBlog folder. I'm going to clear my terminal so we don't have all this stuff cluttering here. That's Control L. Let me go back to the instructions. That was to install the NPM packages, and that's all it is. That's all we needed to do for that. All right, and just to give you a little bit more of an explanation, if you open up package.json, what npm install did is it looked inside package.json for anything under dependencies or dev dependencies, and it installed those. So it installed EJS, which stands for Embedded JavaScript. It installed Express EJS layouts, Express, and NodeMon. So now those are installed. We don't have to install those individually. When we ran npm install, it already did that for us. All right, so that's what happened when we typed npm install. Let's look at step 5, run the project. So to ensure that everything installed correctly, which is what we did in step 4, type npm run dev in your terminal and hit enter. Your terminal will return server is running on http:///localhost:3000, okay, or port 3000. So let's quickly do that. We're going to type npm run dev and hit enter. Let's see what happens. Right, the last thing we get here is server is running on HTTP, and there's that URL. Great. All right. Now you'll notice we don't get this back in my terminal. That's because we're now running the server. So I can't enter other commands here like git status or print working directory or anything like that. I could open up another terminal if I wanted to, and I can do that stuff over here while I'm running the server. I don't need to currently, so I'm just going to delete that terminal. And I'm just looking at this terminal here where we're running this server. Let's see what else it says here. Then open your browser and type localhost:3000. This will navigate to the home page of projectBlog and means that your computer is hosting this app or site which your browser is accessing locally. Right, any changes you then save will restart the server automatically and reflect after you've refreshed your browser. So let's do this. Open your browser and type localhost 3000. I'm already in my browser. Let me open up a new tab and type localhost colon 3000. Hit enter. And there we go. There's the projectBlog website. As you can see, it's looking absolutely beautiful at the moment with all this amazing styling. That's all the work for you front-end guys to do. So now I can navigate around here to these different parts of the website. There's really nothing here, but I just want to show you something. Now that we've done step 5, if we move to step 6, it says make changes to projectBlog. Right, this will be the bulk of the coding that we're actually going to be doing in the future. But it says to make sure that projectBlog is working as it should, that it's running as it should, make some changes to a file and save these. Refresh your browser and you will see the changes that you made. If this doesn't work, you may have to go back to step 4, where we install the NPM packages. So let's go to this website, this projectBlog website. Let's go to contact for now. So it's /contact. And for now, if I say Control-Shift-I and bring up the dev tools, we'll see we've got this nav, and under that, we've got this H1, and that's it. But let's add something under this. So let's go to our text editor. Let me close package.json. And you're going to find all the HTML you want to work with under the folder views. Our CSS will be under public, but we want to change something about the contact page. So contact.ejs. Now it says .ejs, which stands for embedded JavaScript. And basically what that allows us to do is write HTML, just like normal HTML, but we can also embed JavaScript inside of this. Now you don't have to worry about the JavaScript. Let's just add something to this. So let's add an H2. It says this is an H2 tag. And maybe underneath that, let's add a P tag with some dummy text. Okay, some lorem ipsum. Now NodeMon, as it's running our app, looks for changes, and as soon as we save, right now it's unsaved, it's going to restart the server automatically for us, so that we don't have to stop the server and run it up every time we make a small change before we see it. So I'm just going to go File, Save, or Control S. Now let me see if I refresh this page, if we see that change, and there it is. This is an H2 tag, and there's that lorem ipsum. All right, in the dev tools, we can see here that's been added. So that works. All right, now I'm actually going to delete this because I'm currently on the master branch. I don't want to change anything while I'm on the master branch. I would prefer to make my own branch. So let me just Control Z to undo all of this. Great. Okay, that's fine. And save that as well. All right, let's go back to these instructions. And that was the last step. That's all we needed to do. Now we know how to run projectBlog. We've installed the packages or modules that we need, and now we know how to run the app. But you might be wondering, is there any way of closing this or exiting out of this process? Now on my computer in Windows, I just need to type Control-C. It will stop running the host, or it'll stop hosting projectBlog, and just bring me back to my normal bash command line over here. So if I go back to my browser and go to the projectBlog website and click refresh, it's just going to hang like this because we're not hosting it, we're not serving it. Can't reach the page, right? That's because we haven't hosted it. Let's quickly go back and host it or run it. So remember, we say npm run dev like that, hit enter. There we go. Now it's running, server is running. Oh, there we go. It already refreshed automatically. We can go back and see the page just like that. Great. I hope you found that helpful. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below or ask on the Discord server. And I'll see you guys.